Good evening, everyone. Am I audible?
Good evening, ma'am. Yes,
My voice is clear?
yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Yes,
so
ma'am, clear.
let's start the discussion. We have enough members, so we can start now. You have the question I have shared in the group, so we will discuss one by one each and every question. I hope you have revised the topic. Anyone has any problem? You can tell me. No problem? Okay, so first thing, whenever you are answering the question, please try to open your camera and mic so that you will be able to see your performance because I am recording these lectures and you will get the recording of these classes. So make sure that you are opening your camera and mic. If you are not comfortable for the whole session, while you are answering, try to open camera at that time. Okay?
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, sir. How are
Happy
you?
Good
Makar
evening, sir.
Sankranti. Happy Makar
Good evening,
Sankranti.
everyone.
Same to you. Same to you, sir. I hope your New Year is good and Makar Sankranti is also. You are enjoying and preparing for the interview.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so our next first question is discuss the role of landscape and nature in Happy Valley. So, before we discuss this question, I would like to have a quick summary of the text Happy Valley. So, anyone who is comfortable with giving the summary, please share the summary in very brief, not detailed summary. Brief summary of Happy Valley by Patrick White. So, I hope you have revised. What happened? No one? क्या हो गया इतनी शांति क्यों हो गई एकदम से What happened? You haven't revised Patrick White by Happy Valley? No. Okay, so discuss the next question then. इसको हम बाद में डिस्कस करेंगे at the end. So the question which is next, analyze the relationship between Huck and Jim. The question is from Huckleberry Finn by Mark Twain. Who is answering this question? What is the relationship between Huck and Jim in the novel The Huckleberry Finn? Are you clear with the question? So who is answering first? Am I audible now?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Clear.
ma'am.
Okay, so who is answering?
Ma'am, I would like to try.
Okay.
So, in Huckleberry Finn, uh, the relationship between Huck and Jim shows that humanity is more important than social rules and racial prejudice. Like, relationship between Huck and Jim grows from inequality to friendship. Friendship, like at the starting, Huck sees Jim as a slave, but during their journey, he begins to respect him as a human being. So, this is the basic understanding of the question. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Anyone with the same question? Today we have new members, I think Priyanka, Kritika, and Akash. This is your first session?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so are you answering the question? Analyze the relationship between Huck and Jim from Huckleberry Finn by Mark Twain. or anyone? Raise your hand if you want to answer this question.
So my
I would
answer
like to.
is also the same. Actually, so his their friendship, or rather their relationship is evolving throughout the novel. Because at the starting of the novel, he's Huck is more concerned about the racial prejudice and the hierarchy of the difference of hierarchy between the relationships. So he initially treats him more like a slave, or like someone who belongs to a lower class from him. But as the narrative gradually progresses, he gets to recognize Jim's humanity, his intelligence, his emotional depth, and ultimately humanism wins, and he recognizes him more than just a slave and as a proper human. And so at the end, their bond overcomes the slavery and the racial prejudices, and they become a actual companion of each other.
Exactly. Yes, Bandavan sir. You are answering the question?
Yes, in adventure of Huckleberry Finn, the Huck and Jim are both are friends. Huck is white, and Jim is black slave. But their relationship were friendly, and they were Huck was morally natural moral and humanity morality. Human Humanity is more important than societal moral, because there is this racism and exploitation of black slave. So he gave contribution and he gave help to Jim and very in this novel, and this exploration of helping to each other. And so this gave the racial issue and black slave issue and freedom to each other. So this was the concept of Huck and Jim.
Okay, and
This is
there was also a relationship between Huck and Jim that was moral. Because of Jim, Huck understood many things morally. Because initially he was has the opinion that black slaves are actually a person we cannot touch, we cannot have a relationship with them even as a friend. But when he realizes Jim, so he actually understands that Jim as a person is a nice guy, and there is nothing or there is no difference between a black and a white person. So actually he become the reason of Huckleberry's moral, what we can say, that development and his life, that initially he was a child and who has no direction or anything, uh, practical knowledge. Actually didn't have the practical knowledge, but Jim actually taught the relationships, the importance of being morally correct, and there were so many things. So this relationship is also there with Huck and Jim. Okay, so anyone with the same question? Analyze the relationship between Huck and Jim in the novel Huckleberry Finn. All the people, Nidhi, Diksha, Akash, Vaishali, are you guys answering the question?
Ma'am, I just wanted to add one quote from this.
Okay.
The quote by Huck. That is the famous line. It is like that. Okay, then I'll go to the hell. It is for, he said, it is in support of the Jim. Like, it is supporting black slave is considered as a sin. So he said in reply to it, if it is sin, then okay, I'll fine with, I'll go to the hell.
Yes, very beautiful quote. So actually, he accepts Jim and he says that if he is a slave and being a friend with a slave, or I have to go to hell, then I'm ready to go to hell. So, okay, nice. Yes, next.
I would like to add some point also. I would. There is a natural morality and social morality because Huck in childhood is means educated or bring knowledge from society. That is a moral means society social morality. So he don't want to make friends with Jim, but naturally when he understand the natural morality or his nature to helping each other, then he come with Jim. It is also.
Hmm. Yes. Next.
Um, Hello, am I audible?
Yes.
Ma'am,
Yes, you are audible. Answer the question.
initially, there was a racial prejudice, but after spending time with Huck and Jim in river during on boat, they got deepened friendship and they shared a bond of humanity. And Huck started learning from the Jim the love for the family and the humanity and the moral values and emotion depth, etc. After that, Huck mm, Huck take a stand for a Jim and help him to uh, get out of the island or the people they are searching for him. And their relationship also challenge the racist value of the Southern society and represent moral growth. And we can say Jim taught him moral values.
Yes. Next. Analyze the character. Analyze the relationship between Huck and Jim. This is the question. Anyone answering, or should we move to another question?
Yes, ma'am, I would like to answer.
Okay, sir.
Ma'am, the question is related to Huck and Jim, right?
The question is, what is the relationship between Huck and Jim? Analyze the relationship.
So, the story is of Huckleberry, and here Jim is like a father figure of Huck because when in an initial time, Huck's father was Pap, and Pep was not of a good behavior. He used to beat his son and other misusings he has done. So when he left his father's home and went on the Mississippi, uh, on the bank of Mississippi River, I think,
Hmm.
there he met with Jim, and uh, in the starting they were not very close, but when they got together and spent their time with each other, then Jim became the father figure of him and he took care everything. Even they had became close friends. So it is the relationship between both of them.
Okay. Anyone with the same question? Okay, so our next question is, and this question is very important because Huckleberry Finn is a significant novel in American literature. So, question is also related to that. Why is Huckleberry Finn considered a great American novel? Okay, so this is the question. Why is Huckleberry Finn considered a great American fiction? So, you can answer this question in points. Major points you have to discuss here. Okay, so who is answering this question? Why this novel is so important and significant in American literature?
Ma'am, this novel is important for most of the two purposes. First is their racism was also there. Racial discrimination took place there in this novel. And second, slavery has been shown that his father considered him as a slave, and at many other places also slavery has taken place. And when it comes on racism, then I think that racism was also there in this novel. So for two most purposes, this novel is famous for.
Yes. Okay. Anyone with the same question?
Yes, ma'am. I agree with sir that
Okay.
this
Sorry
novel
to
shows.
interrupt. Try to open your camera also while answering. Okay. Continue.
Sorry, ma'am, I won't be able to open my camera today. So,
Every day you all have any kind of excuse. What happening? Actually, I'm not telling this for myself. This is for you actually. No problem. I have no issue.
yes, ma'am, I understand. Yeah.
Okay, so please continue answer.
Yeah. So basically, this novel is a great American novel because it actually shows the real American life and the problems prevalent there at that particular time. Uh, it talks about racism, slavery, and struggle for freedom, uh, especially for those Negroes, like because it questions society and shows the American spirit of freedom. So, because of these qualities, it can be considered as a American novel, great American novel.
Okay. Anyone wants to add more points with the question?
Yes, ma'am.
Please. Yes.
Ma'am, language is the other factor through which we can say that it is the one of the greatest American novel because in this novel Twain has used the colloquial regional dialects, so which gives the voice to the non-elite people or we can say the common people. So through this novel he has depicted the actual problems prevalent during that time by the Jim's character. He has described the slavery, and through the Huck's character he has described like that the social rules or social conformity is lower than the human conscience. And Ernest Hemingway is correctly said about this novel that it is one of the greatest American novel. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, very nice. किसी का माइक ओपन है? Okay, anyone with the same question?
Okay, ma'am. May I try?
Yes, sir, please.
This novel considered one of the most important novel in American literature because this novel, first of all, it raised the racial issue and slave issue. And because this was the main conflict in 1865 when there was slave very prominent in America. So this eradicate this slave issue and racism and also actual freedom to American from slavery and their own conscience to eradicate this slavery system. And second point, he uses vernacular language and local language to give their expression in their local language. So this is and also Ernest Hemingway also called this the most important novel and in American literature.
Okay.
So this
Also, we
is
can add more points that we know that it talked about the actual condition of America in terms of history and political scenarios, what was happening at that time. So they have discussed the slavery, racism, and also religious what we can say that manipulation was there. For example, Huck's aunt, she wants to teach Christian manners to Huck because he used to think that these things are important to teach. So there were religious manipulation also they have talked about in novel, and the quote I think Diksha talked about, that I'm ready to go to hell. Actually, who told these things to Hug? His aunts, because they were very religious, and it was their what we can say the perception that if you are having any relationship with a slave, you will go to hell. So there is religious manipulation also, there is slavery, there is American dream also. There is a term that we know that in American novel they talked about American dream, having a very what we can say that happy and prosperous life. Every American character has this dream, so they talked about these things also in the novel. So this is the reason it is called the greatest American fiction, because all the topics they have covered in one single book. Okay, so anyone with the same question?
Also, yes, ma'am. Uh, I want to add one more point.
Okay.
Uh, it is a kind of satire and humor, or we can say satire to expose the foolishness and we can say cruelty of the hypocrisy of America and the society and the religion and education and your family they on us pay because as you said they want to add a Christian value in him, but he said I'm ready to go to hell because it's not there are hypocrisy in the religion and they are showing society mirror.
Yes, exactly.
Yes, ma'am. It is satirical novel as well as it is a children novel also.
Yes,
It is called children novel also.
yes, a children novel also. And there were another novel by Mark Twain where we have same characters. I think Adventure of Tom Sawyer. है ना?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so
It is. We can say that it is the second part of that novel.
हाँ, Tom Sawyer. So we
Mm.
can say sequel of that novel.
Sequel, right? Sequel is a correct word.
Okay, anyone with the same question? कोई और आंसर कर रहा है इस क्वेश्चन को? ऑदरी एंड नाज मैम, आज आप लोग आंसर नहीं कर रहे हो, क्या हो गया?
Good evening, ma'am.
गुड इवनिंग.
Yeah, actually, the thing is that I'm not ready for the session today. And secondly, I'm having some throat issues like having cold and fever.
ओके, नो
So I
प्रॉब्लम.
just, yeah, I just have joined to listen today only.
इट्स गुड एक्चुअली यूर लिसनिंग. तो आपका रिवाइज होता
Yeah,
जाएगा सबके आंसर से.
exactly. Yes.
ओके, नो प्रॉब्लम, हैव रेस्ट.
Okay,
नेक्स्ट,
ma'am. Thank you.
एनीवन आंसरिंग?
Okay, ma'am. I will just summarize the whole thing in very short, whatever everyone said. So the reason it is considered as one of the most important American great novel because technically it was the first major novel which is written entirely in American vernacular English language. So it represents their distinct dialects and the sounds of their own language, like the proper native American language. And thematically it represented some crucial issues of the contemporary American society without sugarcoating the situation, like the social satire and hierarchy problems, and the racism and the slavery issues, and also the moral development in case of Huck Finn, like how he considers a slave as just beyond his racial prejudice. He considered him as a human and as a friend at the end of the novel. So it shows his moral development. So these are the reasons, few reasons for which it is considered as one of the greatest novel.
Okay, very nice. So the next question is, how does Bharti Mukherjee challenge traditional gender role in the novel Jasmine? Okay, so clear with the question? How does Bharti Mukherjee challenge traditional gender roles in the novel Jasmine? Okay, so who is answering the question? The question is very actually simple and also important because we are talking about the gender roles that we have in India, especially. So, how Bharti Mukherjee challenged those things in the novel?
So I would try to answer first. It is Jasmine is the novel written by Bharti Mukherjee, and here the protagonist is Jyoti,
Hmm.
and Jyoti is an Indian girl, and when he was told that your life would be as a widow, so she was shocked to this news. But after the marriage to Prakash, Prakash was died in a bombardment. Now she had to. Prakash was also a modern thinker. So now she had to move to America, where she took some of the names like Jasmine, Zaire, Zain. Many identities were taken by her. So here we can say that Bharti Mukherjee tried to show the struggle of an Indian woman because normally what we find in India, especially in North India, that women cannot struggle or women cannot tolerate such type of things. But in her novel, it is depicted that women can have many identities or many roles. So it is like a struggle of a woman, and she faced a lot of challenges. Ultimately, she showed herself fit in every challenges. That's
Okay, nice. Anyone with the same question?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, one by one. कौन करा था आंसर? दोनों ने माइक बंद कर लिया.
Vrindavan sir, go ahead. I
Vrindavan.
will try it later.
Like
थी ना तो इसलिए ओके आई विल ट्राई आई एम ट्राई
ओके, आप बोलिए सर, फिर राधा मैम आप करना आंसर.
ओके
ऐसा कुछ
पर
दिक्कत आया करे ना तो अल्फाबेटिकल ऑर्डर में कर लिया करो. जिसका पहले आए वो बोल
ओके
लेगा.
दिस इज फ्रॉम माय okay ma'am. So this novel tell about the Jasmine and first name of Jasmine was Jyoti in India, Indian tradition name. And this was the struggle of a woman, and he also faced he had faced patriarchal of exploitation and gender biasness in the society. So he also faced in India and also faced in America. And in this novel, he also faced the identity crisis. So he changes his name. So, sorry, she changes his name. Jane Jasmine is a immigration identity, and Jane and Jess is American modern identity, and Jane is also so American. So this name is also so the identity crisis and gender biasness. So this is from my side. I am audible, ma'am.
Yes, you are audible. Okay. So, try to understand the question a little bit, that how she is
Ma'am,
challenging the gender roles, traditional gender roles. Look how she is challenging those roles. Like, what is the traditional gender roles? The way women are treated in India. So, we always expect a woman to be submissive. She is not taking her own decision. She is going by the choices of her parents or then her husband. So these are the traditional gender roles, and our character Jasmine, how she is challenging those roles. So this is the actual question, a bit different.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so the answer can be like this. First of all, she has taken the decision to go abroad by her own. Okay, this was the biggest decision that she has taken, challenging all the traditional roles that a woman should follow these things, and a woman cannot take her own decision. Then in the foreign country, she is living her life by herself. So she also faced harassment, and there were different problems. And there is one very common perception that a woman cannot have multiple relationships. If a woman has, then it is considered as she is not she is not a good character woman. This is the common perception that we have in India. So actually she uh, takes that decision for her life. She has multiple relationship with different men. Whenever she find that this thing is not good for her, she just goes for another thing. She in this duration she changes her name multiple times to have a new identity and new life. So all these things are not expected from a woman. So this is the way she challenged the gender roles that we have in India, and especially Bharti Mukherjee. She also discussed another issues that were there, like cultural shock that we normally have whenever we go to the foreign country. We have that cultural shock, or we have that nostalgia for our own country, because we are not actually very in good terms in adapting the another culture and society. So simultaneously, Bharti Mukherjee has discussed so many issues in the novel. Okay, so anyone wants to answer or try this question in your own words and in your own thoughts? You can add more points to this question.
Yes, ma'am.
Actually,
I
there is a
want.
one trick that you can have. These questions are very analytical. You don't need to remember so many things. You just need to have the summary, the idea that what actually happened in the novel. If you know this much now, you can answer this question, because there is no specific answer to this. Because this is a subjective question. These points came in my mind, another point will come in your mind, and हम ये नहीं बोल सकते कि आपका आंसर सही है और मेरा गलत है, या मेरा सही है आपका गलत है, because it also shows how you are perceiving things, how you are analyzing things. And this is the point they judge in the interview, because two people cannot answer the same question in same terms. Everyone has some different points and different analysis. So that on that point we have to work, that how we are perceiving things. This is the main purpose of our discussing these things. I think you are getting while we are discussing these things, because जब हम सिर्फ पढ़ते हैं, we are only remembering characters and summary and few quotes. बट उसको किस तरह से अपन प्रैक्टिस करें, दैट इज इंपॉर्टेंट. एंड दीज एनालिटिकल क्वेश्चंस आर इंपॉर्टेंट. आई एम नॉट सेइंग कि दे विल आस्क द सेम क्वेश्चन. It can be different, but once you know the approach, you can answer any kind of question from the text. I hope you are getting my point. Okay, so
Yes, ma'am.
anyone wants to answer the question?
Yes, ma'am. I want to.
Okay.
As you said, ma'am, Jasmine used multiple names, so it's showing that woman's identity is not fixed. First thing we can say,
Hmm.
and we can say, instead of accepting her fate like widowhood and victimhood, she actively choose to survive and transform, and she choose to go abroad and taking decision to go abroad. And her relationship with a man are chosen not by imposed. मतलब she choose to. She should go with him or not. It's not imposed by anyone. And another point we can say, while working or surviving on her in America, Jasmine take away from the economic independence on a man. It is also a key factor we can say. She break the dependency on man. That's it.
Yes, it's a good point. ओके, और आंसर कौन कर रहा था इनिशियली?
So, ma'am, Jasmine, the character of Jasmine is in the novel. She is a woman who constantly reinvents herself. Like she's constantly challenging her reality and the hindrances that are coming on her way. Like, and she changes her name from Jyoti to Jasmine to Jace and then Jane. So this actually symbolizes his fluidity of his identity, and with every change of his name, sorry, her name, she is actually challenging the her destiny. And also she takes control of her sexuality, her choices, and which ultimately subverts the patriarchal and cultural expectations from the normal gender roles. So she is a woman who is constantly fighting, and she is reluctant to uh, lose against her destiny. This makes the novel and the character a significant one.
ओके, यस, नेक्स्ट.
Ma'am, am I audible?
यस, यू आर ऑडिबल.
Ma'am, we can say that in starting of a novel, Jyoti, a village girl whose marriage is fixed. So basically, according to the traditional gender roles, after the marriage, women should be domestic and they have to do the house chores only. But we can say that uh, she wanted to get education, so it is the against the traditional gender roles. And after that, the death of her husband. So in our society, it is considered that women is nothing. When her husband died, they are fully dependent on husband. But rather accepting this situation, she she resisted and affirmed her identity, and she has taken the very bold decision to go to abroad by herself, and there also she lives her life own. And at the end of the novel, it is also shown that she rejects the male relation and discovers herself and accepted the way she is, not the way society wanted to her to be.
Yes, exactly. Anyone? Are you answering the question?
Yes, ma'am, I would like to answer.
Okay.
So Jasmine challenges traditional gender roles by breaking patriarchy, basically,
Hmm.
which was prevalent in our Indian context for a long time. Like, and for a widow, it used to be expected more difficult life rather than a normal women. So basically, Jasmine does not accept this role of a weak or dependent woman. She takes bold decisions, travels alone, and rebuilds her life many times. So she emerges as a woman who controls her own destiny. Like there is a particular curse which was given by some saint or someone at the starting of the novel that I don't remember the curse right now, but uh, at the end of the novel she remembers it, but she never rely upon it. So this also shows the boldness of the character. Yes, thank you.
Yes, you are right. And anyone remember the curse? I also don't remember what was there. I think there was some future
I think
prediction.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Yes, somewhere she was
I actually don't remember
born
the
as a
exact.
widow or something like
curse.
this.
Uh, Anyone remember? Exactly, what was that?
Yes,
Ma'am, I think it was like that she will be married in 15 years of age, and after her marriage, her husband will be dead, somewhat like that.
Hmm.
actually, ma'am, the astrologer has predicted it while she was 7 years old that she's going to live a life of exile, and that is into widowhood. And yes, and because she was having some mark on her forehead as well. Some mark. As I have read the novel, Jasmine was having some mark to like the star mark. I don't know. I'm not getting that mark.
Hmm.
So she was having that on her forehead, and at the time, when she was 7, astrologer predicted that she's going to live an life of exile in widowhood. So, and and yes, while in the last while, she was just decided to live with Taylor. So she was actually telling this line that I repositioned the stars which was being predicted by that astrologer, because she constantly, redefining her own or her own decisions to go ahead, not to stop anywhere in any kind of wound. That's something I'm remembering right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this can be a study, actually, if you want to do a research paper on this. Like, do uh, these things affect a person? For example, this prediction has affected the life of Jasmine or not? Because most of her decision was dependent on these predictions and all. It can be done. Okay, so next
Yes.
question is, do you remember the summary of Color Purple? Everyone? Or have
I
you remembered
remember
anything?
the overall story, but it is very in detail. I don't remember all the characters, but
Okay.
overall story I remember.
Okay, so the question is
I
actually
remember Celie.
okay. So the question actually related to Celie and Jasmine. So we have two novels. Protagonists are women. If we compare these two women, Celie and Jasmine, what are the points that you find are similar and different in the character of these women? Because they somehow they are actually connected. So I'm just asking all those points where you feel they are connected and where they are different from each other. So the comparison between two characters, Celie and Jasmine. If you are able to answer one point, that's enough. Because हम सब जब एक एक point add करेंगे, so we will have a very good answer to this question in the end.
And I would say that the characters of the two novel, the women characters, have a crucial difference between them. Like Jasmine, she was very rebellious from the beginning of the story. I mean, she was very uh, uh, she was constantly challenging her fate and destiny, and she was doing it all alone, and it shows her mental power and her rebellious nature. Whereas on the other hand, the character of Celie, she was more of a submissive woman who kind of accepted her fate for a long time and tried to bear with it. But only at the end of the novel, with the help of the other female characters, she gained the strength to challenge her destiny. So on one hand, Jasmine was rebellious at the from the beginning, and she did the most of the she took most of the decision on her own, whereas Celie raised as a character very much later in the novel.
Ah, yes, this is a very important point. Anyone wants to add another point?
Yes, ma'am. I would like to answer.
Okay, sir.
Uh, as if first let me talk about The Color Purple, which is written by Alice Walker, and it is a Pulitzer Award winning novel also. Here, the protagonist is Sally, and Sally was innocent and a black girl. She was ugly also, and she was abused by uh, a Alfonso, I think. Alfonso, right? I'm little bit confused. Alfonso, I think that is name. So she was abused by him, and he was the stepfather. As Audrey has also told, that is correct, that she is community. Means she was healing. She was innocent, so she was healing from the community side. But when it comes on Jasmine, Jasmine was of a individual example, right? Jasmine was reinventing life time to time. But when it comes on Sally, Sally was in that state where initially she was suppressed, she was submissive, but when she found a good partner, her name was Sug Avery, right? She found then she was encouraged by her and to speak up and to put her voice. So we can say that the difference between both of the characters, the condition is same, where women was suffering in both of the novels. Women was suffering, and in both of the novels it is a patriarchal society where women was suffering, but situation is different. Situation is different because here individually she was taking everything in Jasmine. When it comes on Sally, then Sally was encouraged. First, she was very innocent. She was not able to speak a single word, but she was encouraged. It means the role of community was there in Sally's case. But when it comes on Jasmine's case, the role of individual was there. So this is a common difference, which I think, and rest of the situation is different. Condition is so sorry, situation is same and condition is same. That is.
Okay, it is a very good point that the struggle of Jasmine was her own. Like there is individuality in Jasmine case, but Celie was facing something which was communal because there were so many factors they have created that suppression of her, even by her own father. So yes, this is a very good point. Anyone wants to add more point to this question? Something different you can think of?
Yes, I would like to summarize it now.
Okay.
Both of the novels show female strength in different ways, and both novels shows women fighting for oppression. Like in the Color Purple, the struggle is with the support of other people, and in Jasmine, the whole of the struggle is uh, fought alone. So this is the basic difference. But both of the novels show female strength and women fighting against oppression. Yeah.
Okay. Anyone?
Yes, I would like to also add some point that in color purpose, Celie is and Celie is in the last of novel is a very challenge to his society means in the last he take his decision on identity and on sexual identity also he means he understand to herself but in Jasmine and Jyoti he determined in the beginning he determined to her aim that he want to take her own decision in any challenging way from society and from traditions in her own way. But in Silly case, she was in beginning she was depending on her father or her family. But at the end take uh, he take her own decision and also take her identity and also he become independent economically independent and he also begin her uh, economic business. So this is and beginning. I think we can add this point that in beginning Jasmine was determined to challenge the traditional way of patriarchy, but in Celie, she was in last to challenge the identity crisis of herself.
Okay. You, sir, you are saying he, not she. Remember this
Sorry.
thing. It happens actually, but just remember you are saying he again and again. And I think this is my personal like thing that I think Celie never challenged those things. She accepted and she lived the life being there. Though she has understood her own identity, her own self, her relationship with Shug Avery, and there were so many things. Like it was her character development, but she was there in that system. She was the part of that system. But in
Yes, but
Jasmine's case,
he realized it in the last means
at the
his
last,
sexual
she
identity.
realized, yes.
Uh, but then Jasmine was determined in beginning from the beginning.
Yes. Okay. Anyone with the same question? And other people participate in the session?
Sally gained confidence through education and economic independence, but Jasmine transformed by adopting new identities.
Your voice is not clear. Please repeat your answer.
But Sally gained confidence through education, or we can say economic independence. But Jasmine,
I think there is disturbance. Network problem है शायद.
sorry, ma'am. Yes,
It's
sorry.
okay. You can write in the comment if you have answer to this question. And there is a very small question related to this novel. That which kind of novel is this? That Color Purple. So we have different types of novels. What is the type of novel this Color Purple is?
It is
Epistolary.
epistolary
Ep-
novel.
yes. So what is epistolary novel?
Ma'am, the novel which is written in the form of letter.
Yes, in the form of letter. That is epistolary novel. Okay. So remember these extra points also. Is, for example, Huckleberry Finn is a picaresque novel, and this Color Purple is epistolary. So we have different types of novels. If we have a kind of, then we have to remember the definition also. Okay. So the next question is from the novel A Farewell to Arms. So actually, there is a theory, Hemingway's theory, that is iceberg theory. So how does a farewell to arms reflect Hemingway's theory of iceberg? So I have discussed the question and given you the question. So can you answer this question? What is iceberg theory? In general, we know that there is a quote also we discuss iceberg. What is that?
Yes, ma'am. Iceberg इज क्या बोल सकते हैं उसको, वो समुद्र में जो पाया जाता है ना,
Yes.
वो ऊपर से थोड़ा सा कम दिखाई देता है और नीचे उसकी गहराई ज्यादा होती है. So on
Exactly.
the surface, it is narrow, but it has a deeper side, depth side. So that is the iceberg.
Okay, so
Yes,
how
ma'am.
this theory applies in A Farewell to Arms?
Sorry.
Okay, no problem. We can try. Anyone with this question? Actually, the question is very interesting. That's why I have added this because we know somebody somehow there are characters, Frederick, Catherine. There is war happening, but what is this iceberg theory and how it is applies in this novel?
Uh, may I try, ma'am?
Yes.
This iceberg is already told by Sir Raghu sir, and that ice means the floating of ice on the water surface. and it relate with the social situation in this novel that truth is also float on the beneath of surface that is seen on this surface level. So the truth is also flow like that iceberg. Means in surface level we can also see truth of bar and social situations that seen on the surface. So there is truth we can see in surface level like iceberg.
Exactly. Or we can add one point in this analysis that these emotions were not like depicted openly in the novel. For example, at the end, when I think Catherine died, Frederick goes, and it seems very, what we can say that on emotional level, very plain. Only rain happens because the rain has a very significant role in the novel. So, like, emotions are in the deep, but they are not on the surface, like Iceberg. So, in Hemingway's other novels also, uh, there were emotions, they were not explicitly depicted by the characters. They were there, deep in their emotions. So, there is war, there is what we can say that uh, the word मेरे दिमाग में नहीं आ रहा निराशा जो हम war से होती है there is a very interesting word what we can say that disillusionment and disappointment that war give to the characters and especially the army officers or the person they are in the army. So they face this problem for their whole life. We have different novels on this subject that after war that mental dilemma and that problem they face. So this is in the character of Frederick. And the other thing, it has depicted and affected his other life aspect also. His relationship with Catherine, and there was also one scene when there was one person from enemy army, and I think there was something happens, then some conversation happened between both of them. So I don't remember exactly what was there. I think वो पानी मांगता है ऐसा कुछ कोई scene है. If anyone remembers.
Ma'am, I would also say this iceberg theory that can I guess it may be right or wrong.
हाँ, definitely.
But I think that iceberg means iceberg. We know that any ice floating on water, it is 110 only 1/10 we see in surface level, but 9/10 beneath the water. And it is also happen in social situation. We see only 10% on surface level and emotional level, but in hidden there is means 90% we can there is hidden truth behind this. So I think this may be iceberg application in
Yes,
such way.
yes, sir. Actually, it is right. Anyone wants to add points? Just
Okay, so
for some mental
basically,
activity, I have added this question. Don't take it too much कि ऐसे question आएंगे. This is just for your exercise. Okay, Audrey, yes, continue.
yes, ma'am. So I was saying that so the technique is that he doesn't over exaggerate the events or like use complex language. It is a very simple way. The story is told in a very simple way without showing how the characters are mourning or having the emotional traumas. But the reason why Hemingway calls this iceberg theory or like he employs this technique because it forces the reader has to interpret the silences of the novel, which are not mentioned in words, but the reader has to decode the emotional gaps, and he creates a meaning of himself. The writer doesn't create conclude any meaning, and the gaps and the emotional traumas, emotional events that the reader himself imagines in his own say let in his own mind. And also there is a beautiful, I think it's a short story by Hemingway, The Old Man and the Sea.
Hmm.
In this work he has also very beautifully portrayed, I mean represented this technique. Like it's a story of how man continuously challenges his destiny. At the end he dies, but he struggles throughout his life, and it forces the reader to feel the pain or the sufferings of the character. And despite of the sufferings of fate gives us, how one can try to move with this and bear with this without losing himself. So that's the main use of yeah, sorry, the iceberg technique.
Yes. Okay, so Old Man and the Sea is a good example. It's a novella, so not a novel, not a short story, between them. Not too long, not too short. So it's a novella. Okay, so this is the question, just for to
Ma'am,
understand the idea.
actually,
Yes.
ma'am, complete the answer again, please. I'm not able to understand.
आपकी आवाज नहीं आ रही.
जी लोगों ने जो आंसर दिया है उसको प्लीज आप कंप्लीट करके बता दीजिए थोड़ा सा. एक मिनट से.
Conclude करके बता दूं.
यस मैम.
The answer is like everyone has discussed. The iceberg theory is when we see on the surface, that is only 1/10 of the actual thing, and the 9/10 percent is, thing is on the under the surface. So this is the technique Hemingway has used in his novels, especially in Farewell to Arms and also in The Old Man and the Sea. So actually, we have to analyze the character, their moods, their psychological conditions to actually understand, because they have not depicted their emotions very openly. Just take the example of Frederick from the Farewell to Arms. Uh, he has that issues, and in the end, that is very clearly depicted when Catherine dies. He just goes very silently. The rain is happening, and that rain actually shows her emotional and mental condition. So whenever there was some emotional scene, the rain used to happen. It has very significant role in the novel. So this is the iceberg theory, that the fear, the violence, or the emotional trauma that he got from the war, and also that emotional setback after the death of the Catherine, he has not depicted that openly. It was there, and as a reader, we understand it, or we perceive it slowly while reading. So this is something iceberg theory related to.
So, ma'am, the novel's title
Okay, ma'am.
itself is very suggestive and like representative of this technique, because the title "Farewell to the of to the Arms." It, on one hand, it's suggesting the farewell to his war and the arms. I mean the weapons, and on the other hand, it also suggests the farewell to his beloved ones, her arms.
Ah, exactly, and also it is semi-autobiographical, because Hemingway also worked as ambulance driver during World War. So also are semi-autobiographical. Actually, all her work. So for few years, he was there in Cuba also. That was a setting of The Old Man and the Sea. So his most of the works were semi-autobiographical.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, so the next question is from The Namesake by Jhumpa Lahiri. So my very simple
Ma'am,
question, yes, what happened?
ma'am, sorry to interrupt you in between, but I just wanted to ask one question from you.
Yes.
Like we have discussed iceberg theory, so is it somewhat similar to Sigmund Freud subconscious or unconscious mind?
No, that is very different. That
It's a narrative. It
subconscious.
is a narrative
Huh.
technique, and that's a different kind of subconscious theories, like from psychological theory.
Actually, he has what we can say that explained
Actually,
from the iceberg example that what is conscious and subconscious mind. This is my interpretation. How I will explain you that how that subconscious mind matters. So that is the 9th of 10th percent of our brain, and our subconscious mind is just the tip of iceberg that we can see, but under the water we have subconscious mind. So actually he has explained that theory with the example of iceberg, which is not related, actually not directly related to iceberg theory, but somehow he has explained with this example.
So both of them has used the metaphor of iceberg, but the context is different.
We can say that they use the metaphor, but the context is very different. I hope now clear.
Yes, ma'am, because I am not completely sure about this, but I am remembering its example that I have read somewhere in Sigmund Freud. There is example of iceberg theory, so that's why I
He
have
has
asked
given
you.
example. Whenever you सर्च ऑन गूगल ऑल्सो वहाँ पे पिक्चर आती भी है, ईगो सुपर ईगो इस तरह से सबकॉन्शियस अनकॉन्शियस. सो ही यूज दैट metaphor to explain what is your subconscious mind and what is your conscious mind. And this iceberg theory is something different, but actually not completely different. Both have different context. We can say that. Okay.
Yes,
So,
thank you, ma'am.
the question is from The Namesake by Jhumpa Lahiri. My simple question is, what is the significance of name in that novel? Because the whole story revolves around name, giving name to child. Like how significant this thing in the novel. I hope you know the summary of Namesake. Uh, Everyone clear with the question?
Struggle for the
Yes, ma'am.
identity and belonging in a cross cultural world. It's showing how migration and family ties in the culture heritage shapes one identity. And it is also about identity, family, and the conflict between the traditional and the modern life.
Okay, yes. Yes, next. Sir, आप आंसर कर रहे थे.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, namesake is written by Jhumpa Lahiri, where Ashok is Nikhil is the protagonist, but the father of Nikhil is Ashok. Ashok gives him temporary because he had to be in hurry to give the name to his child, so he gives him the name of Gogol, and I think his mother gives him the name Nikhil. So, in the starting, Nikhil was fond of his name of that is Gogol. But when he comes to India and finds himself comfortable in India, then he likes his name Nikhil. As his father dies, then no one takes his name. So it is a story of cross culture where name the as you asked the question the significance of the name, so the significance of the name is that when it comes on the name Gogol, then it is somehow depicting the American culture or the Western culture. But when it comes on Nikhil, the name of Nikhil, then it depicts the Bengali culture, and he has some friends also, and that is all about. I'm sorry, I'm unable to describe very well.
Okay, anyone with the same question?
Um, uh,
Okay, ma'am. I would I would like to say in this answer that this namesake is itself the noble name is also about name identity. Nikhil is so to the Indian identity we can say, and Google so to the Western identity, but he was confused to his identity what would be his identity. So but in the end he accept the hybrid identity, means hybrid culture, that is the I think important theme in this novel. Namesake itself show the hybridity of the culture and name. So this is from my side. Yes.
Okay. Anyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, let me try it.
Okay.
Should I try it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure. Why not?
Yeah. Actually, ma'am, the namesake, it clearly reflects that the novel is somewhere revolve around the particular name that is Gogol. And what it symbolizes, it's the Gogol symbolizes the identity and immigrant experience because Gogol was the name which was given to him by his father Ashok, and why he has given him this name because he was somewhere being impacted or being inspired from Russian author Nikhil Gogol. So, but it became the source of discomfort and alienation for his son. Why he dislikes his name? Because it makes him apart from American culture, and it reminds him of his parents' foreignness as well, because they were living in America. So it Gogol, whenever being called by this name, he disliked it because somewhere it's shown that he is not the native of America. He was feeling apart from his peer group as well. But in the as the novel eventually go ahead, Gogol started accepting this name, and so here the writer actually wants to tell the journey of the particular person through the name, that how he is accept the process of self acceptation and eventually recognize the importance of one's own roots and culture as well. So in the initial, he was not okay with it, but in the last, he accepted his own cultures and identity. That's it.
Okay, very nice. Next, anyone with the same question?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
May
ma'am.
I?
Okay, one by one.
Okay, teacher.
Okay, Nidhi, you will say.
No, no, teacher, I'm going.
Okay, go high alphabetical order. Diksha, then Nidhi.
Yes, ma'am. When the way immigrant feels isolated, dislocated, and alienated in foreign culture, and they are not able to accept the foreign culture, they are not able to leave their Indianness. Same way, Google is not able to accept his name, Gogol, and he's not fully accepting his name or nor fully rejecting his name the way we Indians or other immigrant feel in the foreign nation. They also suffer the same thing, like they are not able to reject their own culture nor they are able to accept the other culture, so they lies in between, but and he accepts his name.
Yes, the main problem is cultural dilemma or that alienation that he faces. So when he has the name Google, initially he was not accepted the name, and in his school he has faced many problems, discrimination also, and his classmates used to tease him. But when later he accepted that identity, his parents shifted to India. And then in India, he again faced that cultural dilemma and that alienation. So initially, he used to face that thing in another country. When he adapted that culture in his own country, he has faced this. But later on, when he realized or he got to know the reason why his father gave him that name, actually, his father has met some accident, and at that time the book of that writer Gogol, he had, I think there was something story related to that, and that is the reason he gave
Yes,
that
ma'am.
name to
Because
his
of the
son.
book pages. Yes, ma'am. They say.
So when he got to know that answer, that reason why his name is Gogol, he accepted it, like what we can say, that completely respectfully, for the love of for his father. Okay.
And when the name become bridge between Google personal life, matlab its connection with a father and his present, and he accepted his name after that, and accept the cultural memory and the father's memory.
Exactly. Okay, anyone with the same question?
So, a name in this in the context of this novel suggests identity, memory, and belonging. So, at the beginning or most of the course of the novel, the protagonist character was reluctant to accept his name because he could not relate it to anything or understand its significance. Whereas yeah, his father named him Gogol because of the incident. He was reading a work of Nikolai Gogol, and then he stumbled upon one accident. And at the time of that, he could only hold one page of that book, and with that he grabbed the attention of the medics, and he was rescued. And so that moment changed their whole life, and they uh, took the decision to move abroad. So this Nikolai Gogol or Gogol, this thing has this very important significance in their parents life, but he didn't know that. So he was oscillating between the different identities, because neither in Indian context or American context Gogol is a significant name. But when at the end of the novel, when he realized its significance and how it mattered to his father, he finally accepted his identity, and he was at peace with it.
Hmm. Yes.
So it actually signifies the hunt of identity of the character, the struggle for belonging.
Yes. Nicely explained. Anyone with the same question? No? Okay, so the last text that is remaining is The Shadow Lines by Amitabh Ghosh. So, everyone knows the summary of this text. Do you remember?
Yes,
Yes, ma'am, it is about the
Yes, ma'am.
communal rights in Dhaka.
Ha, and the character Tridib and his story. So, actually, the question is why this novel is so significant in Indian writing in English. What is the significance of this novel? Very simple question.
So primarily, it is very significant because uh, it showed the contemporary brutality of nationalism, the absurdity of communal violence, but not as a documentary, but through a story presented through the lens of a family and their history. So that's why when the readers read the novel, they feel it, not like they are reading history, but it's something like that they are faced, or like they can feel the when someone in your family gets hurt or dies in communal riots. So it affects the reader in very deeply in their mind, and it reflects the how the partition and later conflicts created border between families and neighborhoods, and turned the brothers into enemies.
Yes, exactly. Actually, Amitabh Ghosh has blended history and that communal violence and all the things with the fiction and depicted a way that we are reading a novel and we understand the emotional impact of that situation that happened at that time. And all the partition literature, when we read it, we actually feel the pain that happened. Okay, so anyone with a question? Do you have another point to add?
Ma'am, it also shows कि border and national divisions are basically artificial, but the human connections are and memories are real and lasting. And it shows how personal lives are affected by the historical events like partitions, riots. The story emphasizes that borders are basically it highlight that borders are imaginary, but human connection and memories are real.
Yes, exactly.
I
Actually,
have a question. In the end of the novel, what is the conclusion? Which is more powerful, the human emotion or the borders imposed by the nation or the terrorists, like the who conducted the violence? Which ultimately wins?
I think in last the border is questioning, the participation is questioning.
Because no matter how much you feel connected with your like your family members, you can't go there, or you can't cross that border. It ultimately stops you.
Exactly. I think these divisions are more powerful because in real life we can feel it and we can see this. For example, take the example of Pakistan partition that happened. Many families, they were separated from their loved ones. But now, if actually you want to meet with them, you have to go through a process. So eventually, these things, like these political or what we can say that national and then these borders, they win, and that also happened in the novel. Okay, anyone wants to add more points to this question? No one? Actually, these novels are very what we can say that important to read or to understand because we have to understand the summary and the significance that why we are reading and why they have added to our syllabus. Because if something is related to history or some real life, it eventually becomes important. Okay, and for the next session, when we will have a session, we have discussed 8th unit. Now we will discuss 7th unit. Try to read summary of the text, not completely all to remember, just to understand the character, their connection, and the main idea that we have in the text. That will help you to answer these questions. They are not very difficult, but once you know what is the gist, you can answer that question. Okay, so if you have any important point to discuss, to ask, you can while I'm giving you the topics for next session.
So, ma'am, just during this conversation, I had a like thought popped up in my mind. I want to discuss about it. Like in the two novel, The Color Purple and The Jasmine by Bharati Mukherjee,
Mm.
both shows the journey of women, how they overcome the patriarchy, how they resist the society. But in the end of The Color Purple, how we can say that it's somewhat of a happy ending. She gets ultimately wins the peace of her life. She takes her own decision. But in Jasmine, it still shows a kind of the character is still struggling against her fate. So how can we like compare the ending of these two novels? Like what happened in the end of Jasmine? Like she got the proper treatment or like something like this.
Actually, we can say that it also depends on, well, practically depends on the writer how he is giving the end to his story or her story. And with the case of Jasmine, if we analyze her character, actually, from her entire life, she survived that phase. So it was like she is moving from one phase to another phase, and she's not looking for that peace. If we analyze, it's very this is very subtle. Like she is not looking for the peace; she's transforming her life. So I think,
And she's adapting things.
Yes, she's
adapting.
trying to fit in every situation. She's not stuck in the situation particularly, but she's moving forward in every role which she's giving in her life.
Exactly.
Yeah, life throughout his life.
And with the case of Celie, the point is Celie herself never tried to actually tried to get out of her condition. It was the events eventually she has to do these things. Eventually, she never taken that decision very what we can say that progressively or independently. Later on, in the end, she realized. So this is the main difference in these two women characters. Like we can say that Celie is more passive, submissive, and Jasmine is more active and what we get arrogant, and she's always progressive and taking decision. This is the main difference between two female characters. All the other
Okay,
things are
so
similar.
And ma'am, we
unlike the Color Purple, the ending of name Jasmine is more open ending.
Open-ended, we can say that, or depending on the.
she's ready for everything in life and adapting things and fighting for it. And she's ready. She know she can do and she can fight. In Jasmine, we can say. And
Like the significance of changing name is important. We cannot ignore it. Like once you change your name, you change your identity. You are leaving behind your previous identity. This is a very progressive and very what we can say that strong move. So if a person is taking that move, he is actually very what we can say that progressive in his life, in his or her life, whatever. So it's not important. It's not easy to change your identity, and Celie is not changing her identity because actually she doesn't know what is her actual identity. It is the character of Shug Avery. She made her realize that what actually Celie is, है ना? In the novel when we read it. So this is the main difference between these two characters. Okay. So for the next session, today is Thursday. So Saturday we have next session. We will discuss Indian writing in English. In that, let's take Swami Vivekanand to Nazim Eskil. So all the works mentioned in the syllabus from Swami Vivekanand to Nazim Eskil we will discuss. Okay, I will share in the group also. And in next session we will discuss A.K. Ramanujan and A.K. Ramanujan to Raja Rao. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, anyone has any question or any issue or you want to share, you can, then we will sum up the session.
Ma'am, मैं जो
If anyone has any good like summary or like storytelling of the story or the mountain something, I don't remember the name. We had it Patrick White, so
Yes,
please share
Happy
it.
Valley. Yes, I forgot that. Do you remember the summary of Happy Valley?
no, ma'am.
Nobody remembers. Actually, what
I
happens?
also don't
Yes,
have clarity on it. So if anyone has any summary or like any video on it, so please share.
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, I
I
don't
have.
have any continuing
Okay,
of that.
sir knows. Actually, honestly, I'm sharing this when I was preparing for this exam. So usually we have that tendency to opt out few authors, few texts, and focusing on another. So this is the first one text that I have opted out. I haven't prepared for this. So I don't know actual summary of Happy Valley. That's why I'm asking.
And
Can
I could not
Me too,
find any
ma'am.
satisfying or
I'm
like
also
easy summary of this
yes,
novel
this
actually.
is also the problem. I'm not able to find the exact summary of this text. Anybody knows, please share in the group.
एंड मैम जे वो सेवेंथ यूनिट का हमारा जो आफ्टर स्वामी विवेकानंद जो जे कृष्णमूर्ति हैं
हाँ
उनका भी
जितू.
मेरे को एक्चुअली मतलब ओरिजिनल टेक्स्ट नहीं मिला था कभी पढ़ने को
No, you will get, but you have to search. I have got, but actually it is so too vast. So I have just read the gist of that,
यस
not
मैम
the whole text. It is not impossible to read
और
all these
मुझे
things.
एक वर्ड नाना करके है तो उसका भी कुछ मटेरियल नहीं मिला था।
Nana, acha, हाँ,
एमली
Nana is
चोला
there.
नाना
Emile Zola.
Yes, these all
ये
are Africans, na?
मैम मुझे तो वो इतना एब्सर्डिटी वाली लगती है ना, ये वाली जो नॉवेल है एमाइल जोला, मन ही नहीं किया था पढ़ने का।
हाँ,
मल्टीपल ऑफ
Nana
है।
is there. ओके, कोई बात नहीं, जब डिस्कस करेंगे ना तो थोड़ा सा समरी देख लेंगे तो आइडिया लग जाएगा सबको क्या है क्या नहीं है। तो पहले
आप
समरी
ग्रुप
हम
में
सुन
शेयर
लेते
कर
हैं।
दो
सर
भाई
इज शेयरिंग हैप्पी वैली समरी।
Okay, ma'am. But before sharing, I would like to tell you that everyone is saying that I have not found any text to prepare for the written exam. But seriously, I have not read any novel till now for written examination. Only summary and internet summary I have read. So hats off to all of you that everyone has read a lot. And
नहीं, नॉवेल तो
I
कोई नहीं
also,
पढ़ता सर, पूरी नॉवेल तो कोई इतना किसी के पास ना तो टाइम है ना हिम्मत है कि पूरी नॉवेल पढ़ सके। हाँ, बट समरी अगर आप डिटेल में पढ़ रहे हैं तो भी काम चल जाता है। इवन आई डोंट रीड ऑल द
We
नॉवेल्स।
can read the dramas like Kalidas or those things we could read, but novel तो बहुत ही ज़्यादा.
हाँ।
okay. So, as far as the Happy Valley is concerned, Happy Valley is a work which is written by Patrick White. He is an Australian writer, and it is written in 1939, and it is the first novel of Patrick White. Here, he shows the harsh reality of rural life of Australia. It is the little town, a small town, sorry, and it is based on a real town's name, that is Admanably. Admanably is a town which is surrounded by the valleys, but in reality, it is means the people who are living there in that town are not happy, and they want their freedom. They are in loneliness. They are sad. So here, Patrick White shows that even living uh, around the nature or living in rural area, the people are not happy. So Patrick White is showing that it is the conflict between man and nature, right? One side nature is there, and at the same side, on another side, man is there. Being in the valley, or being in that town, being in the rural area, the people are in loneliness. The people are sad. So by this novel, Patrick White shows the harsh reality of Australian rural life. This is a little summary of that.
ओके। आई होप इन द न्यू सिलेबस दिस विल नॉट बी इन द सिलेबस।
So this is thank you, sir. This is the overview, like what is the
हाँ।
general theme, but event. I mean, what is happening, what the characters doing. This kind of summary I could not find anywhere.
Okay, okay. Actually, there were no more character, only a school teacher, Moriarty नाम से एक school teacher है in this work, and a Jewish doctor was also there. Family was also there. Rodeo family was there. So only some characters I remember, and they were also living in that town, but not happy. They are also not happy. They are very sad. They do not feel very nice. So these only summary I found, as I told that I have not read any particular novel, only summary I have read. So this is only a summary, and some characters are there. That the main character is Moriarty. Moriarty is a school teacher
सो
here
एक्चुअली
in this Happy
नेम इज
Valleys.
हैप्पी वैली बट दे आर नॉट हैप्पी इन दैट वैली।
Yes, they are not happy in that valley.
द मेन आइडिया इज दैट।
What is the
Hmm.
purpose of writing this?
आस्क वी हैव टू आस्क पैट्रिक वाइट।
नहीं नहीं, पर्पज मैं बता देता हूँ। पर्पज एक्चुअली वी डू नॉट फील द इम्पोर्टेंस ऑफ नेचर। बीइंग इन नेचर, वी डू नॉट फील द इम्पोर्टेंस ऑफ दैट, right? We live our artificial life. Even suppose if we talk about ourselves, we live our artificial life. We want to become assistant professor, we want to earn money, but we do not feel the fresh air which is surrounding us. We do not feel the all the natural objects, the leaves, trees, right? We don't feel the importance of that, but for the artificial things we are going towards. So there is a great importance of this work. Patrick White is talking about nature and man, right? We being in the nature, being in the rural life. If man is not happy, it means he doesn't care the nature. He doesn't care the fresh air which is surrounding him. This is the purpose of writing.
नाइस।
हाँ, क्योंकि
Yes,
सब
sir. Yes.
छोड़ के जा
And
रहे
there
थे उस
are
वैली को।
Ah, right, right.
But the
मतलब there
thing
are
is,
human
certain
race
days
in
जो
rational.
हमको लगता है नहीं सिलेबस
like
चल रहा
in
है
today's
तो
life, even to feel that fresh air, we need that money.
No, you don't need money to feel the fresh air.
I mean, like
No, no.
without any stress. When you have stress on your mind, you don't feel it. And I read that it did also get some Australian gold medal for this novel.
हाँ